So, I ran into a snag when I finished my village, got it to spawn in. Placing it here places it very modestly. When it generates in the world, it generates like an entire chunk. I don't know how big a chunk actually is, I'm not gonna lie. But it's a huge spawn. And I believe my issue was, or my key issue, is it seems like it just keeps wanting to generate, but it wants to generate my start, but nothing is calling my start. Yeah, see, Scary Town start. It's in its own pool and everything. Nothing's looking in the start pool at all. I think in this sense, do I want this reaching out and grab? I mean, it would make sense, because once this gets placed, then it just generates outward. And once it generates any piece outside of it, nothing in any of my other pieces should be calling it back. Except for this piece. But that's because it's like specifically supposed to spawn here. So I don't really understand. I mean, I can't imagine this is messing me up. This is a separate pool, like an entire separate pool. And sorry if they. As you can see, and another iron trapdoor works. I've seen it. The hole actually works. That's the thing. The hole works, and then I got this Terminator piece over here. This works. I've seen this spawn in. But this is the key thing. I just have to have a name. It's not trying to reach out and grab anything. It's only getting grabbed. So, I think what I was saying before, how things get grabbed and other things don't, I think I just wasn't doing that like I should have been. I think I need pieces of road that connect from road to house and don't try to connect to other road. And then I think I need road that is road that connects road to road. I think that's my key element here. So I'm gonna have to reconfigure all this. So let me see. Oh yeah, and I have to set it up to where fix that real quick. Scary roads. Target is road end, yeah. I just set that, and then this should be going to a town, and this should be going to roads, but realistically, this should just be named roads. What I was getting mad at everyone else for before, I just didn't understand their struggle. All it was, walking by in their shoes. What it's like to do these jigsaw pieces. Thought I was done. Thought I had it understood. See, I said jigsaw. I typed it out. See, so that's just getting grabbed, but then it's grabbing again, grabbing a building. I hope that's how you do it. Alright, now we have to quit the game. Now I have to allocate the stuff properly. Another testing data bank. Put it in the world and mod. Place all that. Alright, now because I did myself this huge favor, I gotta go to Scary Town as well. See, I can have road end in here because I want it to be used like a road, like just in case, and I want to be able to call it with specific one. I don't know. I have a feeling that if it works, it'll make it too short. Honestly, like it's just gonna stop. I'm gonna have to reconfigure it, but I'd rather be in those shoes right now. Okay. I'll show you an example. Not that one. So here is my Scary Town template pool file. You really only need one structure for all this, because the jigsaw pieces is what's calling the other template pools. So the structure file is of your start pool. Structure file of the start pool, but you're mainly working with the template pools regardless. That's my start one. I just added this one, which specifically calls the road end. Now I set it as the fallback road end. Oh, that's not right. Yeah, road end here. Where am I looking? Over here. Road end here. Just as fallbacks. So I don't understand. Nothing is supposed to be. Hit save all here. Just nothing is supposed to be coming back to those. But it's probably not going to do what I want it to do. So you'll probably see a large generation. Okay. So I can see here, these are reaching out. Why is that able to grab this? Unless this is grabbing that, but I don't know what. I mean, it's so hard to tell. I mean, look, it's just going on and on and on. Alright. So, I believe I figured it out. I asked ChatGPT some things. I got rid of the spacing and separation. Part of the learning experience is not having something you need and figuring out what it is. Basically, spacing is... It's going to put 32 chunks in between each spawn of this in the world gen. My issue is in the structure set, which is the file that tells the Minecraft how to generate it in the world. Separation is 2 villages in the same grid cell will have at least 8 chunk separation. So I guess if my village start was 32 chunks apart, which is a 16 by 16 grid or square. That's what a chunk is. Figured it out. Basically, let's say they were exactly 32 apart, but then they, one reached east and the other reached west, and they try to touch each other in the middle. They would stay at least 8 chunks apart. So the exclusion zone, I think, is it's something I got out of Vampirism, and I'm pretty sure it basically is saying, hey, no other Minecraft villages can spawn within 20 chunks of this. So I'm just going to leave that. I changed it to 20. It was set to like 8 or something initially, but it's stopping villages from spawning. You know what I mean? And I want to make this from like my spawn village. I might even increase this, because this gives me the ability to say, hey, with my spawn village, I don't want another village for X amount of time. Which is kind of something I want. And it's only Minecraft villages, because I want my world to be more about the other things you find. So let's make sure we save all here. and I think I'm good to try it. I went to sparse structures and turned off all the regular world gen of all the other stuff, just in case that was hurting me. I wouldn't want my thing to just world gen naturally with a separate file, and then now that's giving me another town. So, alright. We're making progress. Alright. That is what we want. I think I set my size all the way down to 1. Trying to see if maybe some mod I had was just really cracked open the size limit. I'm a little half tempted to make a big sprawling city, but I don't think that's something you could really do that well. Realistically, if I wanted to make a big sprawling city, I would make city chunks. Make those individual structures. Roads would have like buildings on them and stuff like that too. So I don't think that'd be too hard to do, but going with what I'm doing with this mod pack, I don't think I'm making anything like that. I don't know, depending how into the modding community I get, if at all. I have a feeling I'm just gonna be like doing all this, putting all these hours in. There's some secret all these other mod pack makers have that I don't know. Definitely isn't gonna be as polished as theirs. It's really hard to delve all the way into this content. I mean, the content is so much. Alright, so now we're backing out of here. Going up back into here. Alright, now we're able to look at scary and start this size. So we're about to make size 7 again. We're about to do the max size. I want to see how big that is. And now we simply, every time we do that, copy. I know I could probably just paste and replace, but something about that part makes me feel like I should do that like that. Alright, editing me. I can do. Alright, so I set the size to 7. What happened? Alright, so with the spacing and terrain the way it was, I don't believe I need as severe. Where am I going? I don't believe I need as severe of because I don't have very many roads. I don't need not as many of them reaching out for stuff. Oh, come on now. Give me a break, dude. What's happening? Alright. Alright. So that's reaching out to town. That's reaching out to town. That's getting grabbed. That's going to road end. Honestly, I think I'm going to go back to what we had before. Have it be a road connector. Alright, so after reconstructing, got super lucky with the spawn here, but after reconstructing how the roads work, you can see, oh hell yeah. So we can see, let me see, where's this one supposed to even go? Okay, I get you. I'm registering how the generation is working, because I have all, I have what the jigsaws do in my mind, and why it's doing, trying to wrap my head around why it's doing what it's doing. But yeah, I'd say for the most part, it's pretty successful. I think I definitely need more variety. I mean, don't get me wrong, even with just these same structures, it looks kind of nice, but I mean, come on, 2 of these spawning right next to each other. I just don't like the repetitiveness. I want a lot of things going on. Like, I want it to be well populated, but I don't want it to be repetitive. So, I'm going to do some more work and make some more varied roads. There's plenty of structures here. I kind of wish I could break the size limit a bit, or at least, I don't know. I'm gonna be rinsing through my worlds because I think with a 7 size, you think it'd be bigger, but I think I just kind of got screwed over by. Which honestly, I should change this too. Change it from grass. Well. Alright. So, that was my solution. I got my, I got the village to spawn in and all that, but it was basically in my structure set having the spacing. That was why it was, going all over the place. You just need your spacing set. Something to learn. It's hard to know what's out there in terms of like the code that Minecraft uses, especially for me. I'm not that experienced. But now I'm at the point where it's kind of how my jigsaws are set up. The divvying up, the receivings and the going outs, and then which ones have multiple roads, which ones are going to structures, how they're laid out, because I'm thinking maybe, if they're laid out in a way where they'll overlap too much, it'll mess up the structures. But other than that, I wish I had a better example here. Alright, so I just encountered some new information after I fixed it generating too much. Now it's not generating enough. It seems to want to run out. These aren't very good examples. Because that's like a decent size. They're a lot smaller. They're like that over there. Like, they're really small. And I found out that... let me show you this. Essentially... Where am I looking? Here. Use expansion hack is something vanilla Minecraft uses to kind of trick its villages into giving it more sizes. So my size is set to 7. Every time, so like my start, I made a new start. So like this one will connect, and basically every single one, like when this whole structure connects, that's 1 depth. It's not, 1 depth, 2 depth, 3 depth. So it doesn't use up 5 of your size to connect this. It's all 1. So realistically, the more jigsaws in your starting place, the more branch initiations you have. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it should branch off evenly other than that. But my issue is that it just keeps ending abruptly and not wanting to spawn, and that's because a couple things I've also figured out. Terrain adaptation, projection. I still don't quite know what this is, but projection, there's rigid and then there's terrain matching. Rigid essentially means it's going to carve out a flat spot for it, and I'm not sure if it'll allow stuff above it, but it'll carve out a flat spot and put your structure there. So I want that for the whole village, but for Scary Town, the actual buildings, I also want it, but for the roads, since those can bend and contort with whatever the hills, those are terrain matching. From what I read, those are the only 2, so I guess it makes sense, but I figured that out. So essentially I set all these to terrain matching. Now what I'm doing is I think I over-evaluated how much I could leave blank, or really how stringent it was. So over here in my roads, every piece that's going to connect back to roads, see, this right here should work because I have structures spawning in, like, at all. So maybe I'll go double check my structures. But for this, I need to get scary roads in all these parts. Mainly because it's not like that. I don't think, and according to this, what I've read, it's not like it's going to overlap and not spawn anything. So that one's already set up. So you don't necessarily need the receiving and not receiving one. So I really hope you are not following along with me in your adventures, because you're going to be repeating what I've been doing wrong and then fixing it. But that's part of the process. Wait, what? I'm not going to bother with this. Because if it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. If it does matter, I'd like to have it done. I guess that's the way this works. Minecraft, it's like you could literally have a block of code sometimes that just doesn't do anything. Minecraft will just skip it. Won't even break the whole shebang. Just not realizing I should probably have these go to the end of the structure. So let's do that real quick. Alright. So, I'm not sure if that mattered. I think it did, but just to be safe, make sure your jigsaws are at the edge of the structure. But with this, I'm not going to save them until I may as well save these. I may as well save as I go. Of course, in that sense, red gel, just to make sure nothing is spawning over all these. So I got all these. I know I've done the other one correctly because I'll show you that. So basically, making the new one was easy. I just made a new structure and named it the same as that one. Didn't have to change any files. Just named it the same thing. Kind of replaced it. Kind of disrespected the mod maker, but hey, he's not watching this. Nobody is. Anyway, what am I doing here? Oh yeah, this is my Terminator piece. I'm not targeting a pool, but I have a name and a target name. And in Minecraft, pull this up, VS Code. Looking at the actual NBT file of their Terminators, that's how they have theirs set up. And apparently, the Terminators are they're not exactly the same as the expansion hack, but I'm pretty sure the expansion hack essentially uses your Terminators to say, okay, keep going and making another one. So, something else I had to do was set up my... I shouldn't have to save any of these. Inside, not Scary Town start pool. You want that to be empty in the fallback. Scary Town itself, your structures inside. So the start and then the structures, empty fallback. But the street, the roads, since those are kind of be the driving force and the logic of what is doing the spawning of the other things after the start, which is really doesn't need a fallback because it's what's starting everything, so that's why it's empty. This one is where you call to your pool file, which mine's called Road End. That is your Terminator piece, which mine is essentially that little end of the road, but the way the jigsaw is marked, it's going to tell Minecraft not to use one of the layers of depth. And it's going to, I guess, somehow give me more village spawning from that. But in here, Scary Roads, we have it at the bottom. It's still in here for it to naturally find, and it will still function as, like, don't use up the thing. But we also have calling to the same file in a different pool file, different template pool file. So just make sure everything saves. Save all. Alright, so I just got some information. Let me do this. Alright. So I just got some information because I just don't know how this worked generally, right? I've spawned this in so much. It's like it works, But then I figure more stuff out when I try to do more to it. Essentially, I'm trying to add basements. Right? And it's so weird. I put one here, and I set up the jigsaw, and it worked every single time in my main area. Change these so it'd be smaller and look better, but those are Terminators. I forget if I explained these. I think I did. But, what I've been having issues with, essentially, is this one, my new thing, kind of meant to mainly just hold the basement. It just doesn't want to spawn in all the way. And I remove the jigsaw and it spawns in fine. So, the issue turns out to be... So, they both need a name. Both need a name. Just keeping it consistent here. So this one's name is Hole, because it's the hole. The basement, really. Target name is Scary Town. This one, since it's on the receiving end, so essentially what's happening here, the receiving end doesn't need to go look in another pool. It's getting looked at. According to what I read, the handshake rule. I'm using ChatGPT, so it's probably, I think it's making that up. But either way, it's a good way to think about it. These are both hands of the handshake. This is like going and looking for somebody to have a handshake with. In reality, only one person needs to go looking to find another person to have a handshake with. Oh, that guy has a hand with this name. I have a hand with that name. Shake him. So I think that's been my mistake. I feel I've been leaving the pool with this stuff, or all of it, and then leaving like the name empty. So that's not how you do it. So the receiving end should be that. And then this is the outgoing end, so it has all of them filled because this one's looking. Target pool is what's making it reach out. And then this one is getting reached out to. So, there we go. Now, let me do this one. The other issue is that I set all my roads up in a bad way also. I'm going to do the copy and paste here. Set my roads up where all, as I've seen it, parent roads, because the parent is the piece that's with roads. There's pieces that spawn all the other pieces, and then pieces that get spawned as the roads. Okay, if you forget, if you save something, let's go save it again anyway. I only need gel for the one that's going to be up top. The other ones are in the ground, so they're going to be surrounded. This is the other one I put a thing in. I need to do this. Quality of life. And, okay, so this one's set up correctly. That's nice. So, I don't have to do anything. Now where am I going? Okay, I got both because I got those. Now, see, because this. Okay. Alright, so coming back to this, I did a little more reading. Your start leave the start name as empty because the start has a special exception in the Minecraft logic, so that its name is empty. You only need the target things to generate it. So that tripped me up. Okay, coming back to that. So yeah, that's how those should be for your start point. What else am I looking at? Oh yeah, this guy. I cannot get this guy. I just don't think you can have them. I need to fix this. I don't think you can have them have any kind of special pose here. Alright, so I fixed that issue. Starting to get just all these weird finicky issues all the time. I don't know where those dudes are coming from. I don't remember where on my... Here it is. Oh yeah, then at some point when I make a build world, I'm going to be able to keep it so concise. The trick is not to just go spawn stuff in the one you're trying to build stuff in. The trick is to have one carved out, which my trick, the reason you see all these indentations, I just take the build tool, go to the top layer of grass, which is always going to be grass block, so it always goes one deep, at least for me. Click it and then boom, you have a structure block there, which is perfect when you're making stuff like this, because it'll just always, you'll always be putting it down, being surrounded by those. So I need to come here and empty out my freaking inventory. So my issue is, oh well, see, thought I didn't put that stuff away. So I learned before that I need to bring that to the end here. Yeah, carry on is fantastic for this. Don't have to break it. I feel like there's a way to move these, but I don't know. So I need to have parent pieces and child pieces. And the way I feel like I should do it is that the child pieces all go to individual structures and the parent pieces act as intersections. So, realistically here, it's like, I probably could have a parent piece of road also go to town. I'd also go to a town. I don't think that's a bad idea. Copy Minecraft empty, and somewhere else I've written it down. Maybe just delete the target pool, make it empty. I mean, this one going to town? Okay. This is also why you should pay attention to what you're doing. Oops. Alright, so scratch that. Propaganda. Town going to roads. Okay, here we go. This one. Set to Minecraft empty. So now we know this one has, this is what I am, what I want, where I'm looking. This one isn't looking because it's a child piece. I don't know why ChatGPT is getting all these analogies, but what I am and what I want I feel like is better than the handshake thing. It's not equal, but like the name and target name are equal in weight, but then the one piece having the target and the other one not is like a key element. Alright, roads. So this one's only going to spawn roads. Now, I don't really want this one spawning itself, is the thing. And I mean, obvious reason for that. I just think it's going to look weird if that's all right next to each other. But this could easily be a child piece. The problem is, I feel like the child piece, because like this one's a child piece. I feel like with a child piece, you're going to get a connection from either there or there. And you know, honestly, that's not that bad. I feel like, realistically speaking, because the road is an L shape here, this one should be a parent piece. This one should be a child piece, because this one should be getting connected to here. See, that goes to town. That goes to town. That goes to town, and that goes to roads. So this one should be a child piece. That way, it's not trying to... Because this one has 2 roads is 3 towns. So it's like either it's going to come in here, it's going to come in here, and you're going to see that divide in a bunch of towns. I feel like maybe that logic... It's like every time I try another layer, it turns out that layer is helping me. You know? Which, that's the nice part about it, I guess. So, this is going to be child piece. So there we got a child piece, we got a parent piece, we got a child piece, we got a parent piece. And I'm thinking another child piece here. Alright. You do want more children than parents. So, easy to do. Now I got all of those saved. So that is my changing of my roads to have parent and child pieces. Which you can get a structure, I mean you can get a town to come in and look good to a degree without it, but you know, I mean honestly that's another issue here. You know, I don't want that to happen. I want it to kind of diversify a little more. Everything is equally weighted, so why is it so many of the same structures? I wish there was a way, and there might be. I'll definitely be adding it if it turns out that there is a way to do it like that. Get them to go down the list. I mean, let's go out of here. Go down the list. Alright, so before I spawn the structure in, this is something I was told. I read. I had changed the projection. This is the template pool file for my basements. Just call them holes. I set the projection to terrain matching instead of rigid, because I thought maybe that'd help with the underground factor. And I also did that for laboratory, which I had made underground. I set it to terrain matching, so I need to check how that's working, but apparently that's not what you want to do. If this is rigid, you want a basement for it to be rigid. I think it's just because it's contained in the same area, but irregardless, just try to place it. That's a good sign. It didn't give me it kept giving me an error message when I had my jigsaw pieces in. Oh, there it is. So I don't think it's working. What I need is either of the buildings that have the thing pop up. So yeah. Okay, well the basement works. So now there's the other difficulty of, for some reason, I mean this structure works. That structure works. I need both of those. But oh well. Alright, play Minescary.